Hello everyone, I'm Dan Philgreen, and this is Shell Point Today for Thursday, July 18th. On today's show, Herb Sklar discusses the best portrait artists in United States history. We'll also meet Louis Kimsey, a specialist who fixes the antique and grandfather clocks of Shell Point. But first, a quick reminder about a Health Connection event that's today. It's devoted to protecting your hearing. For those of us who don't have hearing loss, it can be tough to understand what life is like for those who do. How do you watch TV or talk on the telephone? Shelley Rogerson of Beltone Hearing Aids is bringing a hearing loss simulator to Shell Point today at 1 p.m. in the Woodlands Oak Room. All are welcome to learn more about hearing loss and what you can do about it. And then tomorrow, we have an event for all of you savvy shoppers out there. The community thrift store has been up and running for 2 years now, giving residents a chance to volunteer in a fun venue and shoppers a chance to buy valuable items for a good cause. Now it's time to celebrate. Tomorrow they are holding an all-day celebration event where surprises will be popping up all over. They'll be offering free popcorn and soda pop. You can also pop a balloon and get a tag for extra savings. And the store is open extended hours tomorrow from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. So pop on in and enjoy a Pop a Tag event celebrating the second anniversary of the community thrift store. The store is located on McGregor and Gladiolas, right next to Planet Fitness. For more information, give them a call at 225-6529. Now, let's talk about art. In this Independence Month, we've been exploring the history of the United States in all venues, including art. Now, Herb Sklar is here to tell us about a very specific genre of art, the portrait. Who are the greatest portrait artists in U.S. history? Find out at an Academy class on Monday at 10 a.m. in the Grand Cypress Room. Terry Kolath has this preview.
Hello, I'm Terry Kolath, and I'm here today with Herb Sklar of Eagles Preserve. We're talking about his upcoming class in the Academy of Lifelong Learning, American Portrait Artists. Thank you for joining me, Herb.
Oh, my pleasure.
Well, I was looking for a way to celebrate America in July, and we've had all sorts of classes, history classes, art history classes, a class on civics, and we're so delighted that you're going to give your American Portrait Artist presentation.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's fun. We're going to do painters and photography, but portraiture is really a genre within painting, and it's not about the likeness as much as it is about capturing the person's personality.
That is such a challenge.
And it is. And I start out this talk by showing 8 different images of JFK, done by different artists and different photographers. And you can see the likeness in every one, but some of them may have more what you believed his personality is, and then you can understand how the personality or the essence of the person within the portrait is so important. And it was Pablo Picasso who said, which is the biggest liar, the photographer or the artist?
Really? Did he answer that question?
No, he never did, but it was a great statement. So we'll get into that, and then I'm going to go into photography later on with Matthew Brady, who everybody knows was the Civil War photographer, but he was not really known for that. He was more known for the celebrities. The largest celebrity, the biggest celebrity he did was Abraham Lincoln, of course, and a lot of these generals, and a gal by the name of Vinnie Reed. Now, who's Vinnie Reed? You're going to have to come out to find out. But this gal is amazing that she was that well known and accomplished something so incredible that Brady would want to take her picture. And what she did was even more amazing, that she was a woman and she was 18. So you got to come out and find out about Vinnie Reed. It's really a wonderful story.
Well, as you talk about the portrait artist capturing the essence of a person, their spirit, what I like about what you're going to do in this presentation is you're also going to capture the essence of our nation. Because as these portraits were made,
oh, absolutely,
we see what was going on.
The costuming and the time. Yeah, we'll go into a series of paintings done by expatriates, like Sargent and Whistler and Mary Cassatt, who all lived in Europe. And so we'll go through that period. Then we'll come up to the Wyeths, 3 generation of artists. Amazing. Yeah, Andrew Wyeth and that whole family. And now there's a 4th one coming up. I think Mary Wyeth is a granddaughter, and she's also getting pretty well known. So that'll be interesting. And then I go into showing 2 contemporary artists. One is a man that I had the good luck to be in class with, who teaches out of Washington. His name is Robert Liberace, and he's wonderful. And he is going to be so famous. He is now pretty. And I'll show some of his work. And then a photographer who's also pretty well established, who has the same last name as mine. His work has been in all the national museums. The Metropolitan Museum has bought 2 of his photographs, so I'll show you that. And then we go into amateur hour, and I'll show you some of my paintings. And that's where it's going to end.
So we're going to take this little jaunt through the history of our country with portraits. It's amazing to me how the portraits can make history come alive.
Oh, absolutely.
And didn't we learn about war? What war really was like from the Civil War?
Oh, absolutely. Brady brought the horror of war right to our face. He had 24 people in wagons running around taking these pictures. There were 2 to a wagon because they had to prepare the plate. It was called a wet plate, and they had to make it right before they took the picture. And so we'll talk a little bit about that and the cost of that. He went bankrupt because the government wouldn't pay for it at the end of the war.
Really?
Yeah, they gave him a small grant, but it didn't cover the amount of money.
And what he's done?
Yeah, his pictures are priceless. They're worth a fortune.
Unbelievable. Well, again, we thank you. We thank you for this priceless look at American history in the month of July, as well as the beautiful paintings and photographs we're going to see.
You're more than welcome.
So we hope you join us Monday, July 22nd, 10 to 11:30, just an hour and a half to go through the history of our country by portraits with Herb Sklar.
We now have a story about a different kind of artwork, one which serves a practical purpose. We recently visited the home of Bob and Joyce Crone of Sundial, where they have collected several antique and grandfather clocks. Not only are they visually stunning, but they also keep pretty good time. And at the top of the hour, they serenade you with the lovely sounds of chimes. But there's something else. If you peer into the inner workings of these clocks, all the gears and springs and catchments are quite beautiful in and of themselves. Of course, all those mechanical bits require maintenance to keep them up and running. So who do you turn to? The Crones turn to this specialist, Louis Kimsey. Louis is the rare mechanical clock specialist who actually makes house calls. And many of his customers are right here at Shell Point. We followed Louis on a recent maintenance visit to repair a grandfather clock.
We've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We got 7 clocks that are bonging and dinging and all that kind of stuff. So, and most of them belong to my parents or my wife's parents. So, we haven't bought any except the grandfather clock. The rest of them have all been in the family. And of course, the oldest one is the kitchen clock that's in the hall out there, and it goes back in my family 3 or 4 generations. When you move a couple of grandfather clocks, you've got to get somebody to adjust them. So I went down to the clock show which was downtown at the Civic Center. So I'm standing there, and there's 5 or 6 people around. I said, who is the best clock repair guy around here anywhere? And they said, well, you're looking at him. And there was Louis sitting over there working on clocks.
I was living in Oregon, working a lot in the woods, firefighting, logging, Christmas trees, and I had a disc go out of my back and required a minor operation, and I needed to start looking for another profession. And one day I was walking by a clock shop, and I've always had an interest in antiques, and I've been fairly mechanical most of my life, and I thought that was really what I wanted to do. And there was 6 schools in the nation that taught clock repair, and Winter Park Tech outside of Orlando was one of them. And I had been through Fort Myers back in the late 70s, and I thought, great, I'll go there. From Oregon rain to Florida sunshine. They're like puzzles, and you start with a simple puzzle, and then you work your way up to more complicated puzzles.
This one that he's working on that you saw in here today is one that another clock guy looked at and said it can't be repaired, but Lewis is in the process of rebuilding it, putting in some new gears and some bushings and so forth.
There's a lot of work that goes into these things. And when you see all these gears in there and stuff, they're just not put in there. One's got to be at a certain degree of this one, and this one here's got to be a certain degree of that one, and they got it all timed in with these things out here.
He comes to your house, and that's important when you're working on some kinds of clocks, where you just can't move. In other words, a grandfather's clock, you can't move it from one place to another. Now, he can take the guts out of it and work on the guts. He doesn't work on cuckoo clocks, though.
Well, they say if you work on cuckoo clocks, you have to be cuckoo to work on cuckoo clocks. And I'm not going to confess to being cuckoo. I've got about 40 clocks at home. One is probably running. But yeah, they're pretty. After a while, they're investments. I've known some people go out and they buy a nice clock and then they realize that, it's not going to keep time within a minute a day or something, and they get real upset and don't understand. But you're looking at 100-year-old technology, and that some of these clocks were set by the church bells at noon type of thing. The antique, if you get them to run within 3 to 5 minutes a week, is some clocks are more accurate than others. Spring-wound clocks are not as accurate as weight-driven clocks, because at the beginning of the week you're tight in that big tight spring, and it runs usually a little faster, and by the end of the week it's let down. Whereas a weight-driven grandfather clock and your more expensive clocks, they have weights, and the weight is steady pull, so it doesn't fluctuate as much as a spring. I've got a fairly large tool chest over there for my house calls and setting up clocks. This one here happens to be a nut adjustment for on the minute hand, so you can get the minute hand to ring right at the 12 mark. Various hammers, an oiler, pin oiler. I do fill it with nice clock oil.
What Lewis has shown me is a lot of these times it's that people don't oil them, so the bearings wear out. So then you got to go in and you put new bushings in all these places, and the bushings got to be sized exactly right, because if they're too tight, she doesn't run. And
a small grease applicator. And then one thing I carry around with me, this is called a letdown key. It's got a couple different sizes on it. So if you have to let the springs down on a couple clocks, you can use this tool. You put it in there, and then it slips in your hand. And this here is a beat amplifier. You hook this up to the clock, push the button, and you can hear the clock tick-tock. She's perfect.
A lot of times there's not parts for these old clocks, so they've got to kind of improvise and make parts, and this I think is important.
The title of a clock repairman is really clock maker, and if you can't find a part, you've got to make it or modify something that will work. Shell Point, I've noticed for years, I've been in this area since about '99, and Shell Point has a very large percentage of clocks, and you stumble across some nice clocks in Shell Point, some very nice clocks. People at Shell Point really seem to love their clocks. I've seen them take them from one end of the island to another one, and I've met some nice people out here. And you can call me at 239-690-2318. And I'm making house calls sometimes, so you have to leave a message, leave it clearly, and perhaps repeat your phone number, because sometimes it doesn't come in clear, and it's nice to hear it.
I'll certainly vouch for him. I think he's a winner as far as a clock repairman's concerned.
I like it. Like I said, they're like puzzles. And as far as working, what better job could you have than working indoors? And I love my work.
Coming up, we're covering all of Thursday's happenings from Resort Services. Then stay tuned for your Academy news, menus, and Village Church connections.
Today is Thursday, July 18th. I'm Suzanne Zavada, and I'm here with Bev Chanley to go over everything happening at Shell Point today. We'll start the day off at 7:15 with the Health Connections Bend, Breathe, and Balance in the Health Club on the island. At 8 o'clock, the Men's Golf Association will meet out at the Shell Point Golf Club. And also at 8, we have the Round Robin Men's Doubles Tennis Group meeting out at the courts at the Woodlands. At 8:30, the Paddlers Club will meet out at the kayak storage on the island. And at 9 o'clock, we have our behind the scenes of the laundry facilities. If you're signed up for this, meet outside of the Manatee Room on the island. This event is full. At 9:15, shuffleboard will be played out at the shuffleboard courts on the island. And at 9:30, the current events group will be meeting in the game room at the Woodlands. Also at 9:30, the ladies match play will meet out at the tennis courts at the Woodlands. Then at 9:45, we have introduction to beginning line dancing, followed by 10:15 basic line dancing, and 11:15 advanced line dancing, all of these taking place at the Health Club on the island. That's all for the morning. Now let's go to Bev for the afternoon.
Well, the afternoon starts out at 1 o'clock with a Health Connections class, the effects of hearing loss with the use of a hearing loss simulator. That'll be in the Oak Room of the Woodlands. Sign up is required. At 1:15, the Butterfly Garden Committee meeting will be going on down at the Butterfly Gardens. Also at 1:15, we have Mahjong being played in the Library Lounge. 2:45 is the time for Health Connections Balance and Mobility Training Level 2. They'll be in the Health Club, and that's currently full. At 4 o'clock, it's the weekly visit of our seamstress. She'll be in the Osprey Room on the island. At 4:30, the Alcoholics Anonymous meeting will be gathering in the Sable Room at the Woodlands. Then we move to a couple activities at 6:45. We have a Big Arts Community Players trip to see Jersey Girls. Court pickups begin on the island at 6:45. The pickup at the Woodlands at 6:55, and 7:05 is the time the Eagles Preserve residents will be picked up. That is currently full. And then we end the evening with Pinnacle at 7 o'clock in the Library Lounge. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.
Hello, I'm Terry Kolath with your Academy information for Thursday. At 9:45, the Computer College offers Organize Your Hard Drive in the Computer Teaching Center on the island for those who have signed up. And at 1 o'clock, What We Learned Wrong in Civics will take place in the Grand Cypress Room of the Woodlands for those who have signed up. At 1:15, the Power of Right-Clicking Windows 7 takes place in the Computer Teaching Center on the island, and sign-up is required for this new class.
Menus for Thursday. In the Crystal Room, the Crystal Platter is beef enchiladas with yellow rice, zucchini, and peppers. The dinner special is the Crystal Carving Board for $10.95, and the soup of the day is beef rice. In the Island Cafe for lunch, enjoy a turkey, Swiss, and bacon panini with a side salad for $6.95. The dinner special is Thai night for $7.95. Dinner specials in the Palm Grill on Thursday are New York Strip for $17.95 or seared scallops also for $17.95. All menus are available 24 hours a day at www.shellpoint.net.
Greetings and welcome to Village Church Connections. I'm here today with Pastor Randy Woods, and Randy is joining me because together we are going to talk about some action that's been going on around the church.
Yes.
And Randy, a lot of this has been taking place in your space, your area of the building, back behind stage. Tell us what's going on.
Well, we have started the work of renovating, refreshing the choir room, the green rooms behind the stage. So just last Monday, July 8th, the workers came, Modern Movers, obviously contracted through Shell Point, came and cleared the space out, and the guys worked like bees. The place was abuzz as they were packing boxes and the cupboards, the risers and chairs, and clearing out the space. So all that was accomplished last week.
And it was quite a bit of work to pack up everything and move it all out. But
sure, all the robes, the music, the chairs, the risers, the cupboards, the sound equipment, different things that we use for decoration, all that in storage in the back. So now we have a clean, clear space for them to make repairs. The concrete workers have been in making repairs to the walls and the floors, getting that all squared up. Soon the cabinetry guys will be coming to install new cabinets, closets, cabinets for the robes, storage units. So we're making progress.
We are. And what are you looking forward to when this is all done?
Well, it'll be a clean, fresh space. Obviously, the walls being painted. When they finish, the walls will touch the floor.
And
there has been some settlement through the years, but the engineers have assured us that without any doubt the structure of the building is certainly sound, but just with some settlement issues, which are common, especially here in Florida, building on sand, you have those issues. But they are now just finishing up, so squaring up the corners, the floor and ceiling, where there are gaps, filling that in, tidying it up. They'll be repainting everything back there, as well as carpeting, new cabinets, lighting. So it should make for a really fresh look, clean space, and very comfortable as well for the choir, for the Shell Point singers as we rehearse, and probably much more comfortable as well using that space for other meetings and presentations, because we can easily seat 80 to 100 people back there.
I know that's a space that has needed attention for a number of years now, and so we're very grateful that Shell Point is working with us to just refresh and renovate that area, especially as visitors come in. I think it's just really critical to have a decent space back there.
It's going to be quite nice. For many of our guest artists, musicians who are coming, that's the entrance that they use, so that's their first impression. So this will be a huge improvement. It may be so nice that they won't want to leave. We'll just keep them here.
That'd be okay. Yeah. And what's the timeline we're looking at?
Well, as they have started July 8th through several weeks, we anticipate early August, early to mid-August, the project will be finished just in time as we start choir and the Shell Point singers. So mark your calendar and plan to join us by the middle of August. The dates will be announced in Shell Point Life and in the weekly reminder. As the project is completed, we'll be ready to sing and start a new season.
So folks can just watch for those dates and in the meantime be ready.
Yes.
So thank you, Randy, for sharing with us today.
Well, my privilege.
And I should mention that while all of this work is going on, it's important that folks use alternate entrances to the building.
Yes, best to use the front entrance of the building and wait and enjoy the surprise when it's all finished.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you so much. And thank you for joining us today for Village Church Connections. Have a wonderful day.
We're glad you joined us for today's show. Tune in tomorrow as we relive the festivities of Shell Point's July 4th celebration. Until then, this is Shell Point Today for Thursday, July 18th. I'm Dan Philgreen, and from all of us here at Shell Point TV, we hope that you have a great day, and we'll see you again tomorrow.